Hey, what's going on, guys? So I want to kind of follow up our pre-production videos with the actual recording part and what that kind of looks like. This is actually the fun part. This is the part where you're actually getting to hear the songs you've written, or the songs that you guys have picked, or however you have your songs. You're actually getting to hear what they sound like now, and what it's actually going to sound like when it's finished. So you've picked your studio. You've already picked what songs you're going to do. You already have your producer and your engineer, and now you're going to the studio. So here's what that kind of looks like. One, prepare for some long days. That's definitely part of this. Everything always takes longer than you think it's going to take. No matter how well you perform, or your experience level, any of that stuff, it just always does. That's just part of the process. You just kind of have to embrace that. But ultimately, it's for a record that's going to last forever. So spending a few extra, minutes or hours or days in the grand scheme, I think makes a lot of sense for something that's going to last forever. So embrace the time that it's going to take. But once you've settled that on that, now it's time to actually have some fun with this. All right, so let's use a couple examples here on what that studio session is going to look like. Let's say you're in a band and you've all decided we got to track everything together at the same time. All right, in this scenario, you're going to come into the studio. It's pretty much already going to be set up for you, and everyone's going to be on headphones and playing their instruments and just playing their songs down. So really, it's kind of like playing a show. It really is kind of that way, and you're trying to play your absolute best and get the right energy and everything like that. You're going to do multiple takes, and the reason for that is because if anybody makes a mistake here or there, you'll have other options to pick from and stuff like that. Or maybe it takes a couple takes to really nail the one that you guys love. So you'll definitely be doing multiple takes, and then you can also, after you have all these multiple takes done, you can actually go through and comp stuff together and kind of put together the best pieces of everybody's performance and stuff like that. So that's kind of what a tracking day kind of looks like. And again, that's you guys as a band doing everything together. So let's say it's a 4-piece or something like that. You got drums, bass, a couple guitars. You're probably gonna record all that stuff together. And if you have demos of these songs, you probably already have scratch vocals to actually play to. So you don't even need to do vocals yet, because vocals generally are done at the end of the process after all the instruments are tracked. That's generally when you're going to track the lead vocal that's on the record. So what you're going to do is just get the main stuff first, and then maybe some of the extra auxiliary stuff as well. Then you'll get those main vocals down. And that's kind of what the recording process looks like for a band. Now let's say you've decided that we're going to actually break this out into several different pieces. We may even just track one instrument at a time. That way we can all kind of listen to each other play and have a little bit more, we can actually provide some feedback and things like that and be like, yep, that was the take. We love what you did there on that drum fill for this one part right there. Or the bass player plays something, you're like, that feels great right there. I love how you played that. Or, hey, actually, I think, can you try something else there? So that's kind of an advantage of breaking it up, doing it one at a time like that, is actually you can get feedback from your band and from your different people in there and kind of help guide you to something different than what maybe you would normally do. So that can be a real advantage as well, is nailing down all that stuff. Both ways are great, and you can get a great record either way. And then I guess another way that we could do this, let's say you're an artist, you don't have a band, you have a bunch of songs that are ready to go, but you do need actual musicians on them. It's not a electronic production or something like that is mostly in the box and not using session players. So in this scenario, you are using session players. You've picked out, the producer has picked out all of the session players and who's going to play what and do what for this session. And in that case, you can be there in the room listening to these musicians perform these songs that have been picked for you, or songs that you have written, and they'll really start to come to life that way. And so that's another way that a tracking session can kind of happen. And then once all the session players lay down everything and you have all these songs done, again, we're going to lay vocals down at the end. That's generally what happens most of the time. So, that's kind of what the flow looks like. Now, during that flow, like I said, there's going to be multiple takes of each song. You're probably going to come in and overdub guitar solos, stuff like that, or lead lines. Maybe acoustic guitar needs to be overdubbed, and you do that a little bit later, or any synth type stuff, maybe that, whatever, sound design, it could be just things that you might layer in post and stuff like that. That could happen in the middle of the session where it's like, hey, the producer's hearing something saying, hey, this is sounding really good, but we need this extra element in here, really, I think, and let's go ahead and just do that real quick to fill out this song, or to try and complete it, because that's kind of how the flow of a session can go, is where even though you want to do all these things and do it well, you might need to try something real quick and do that while the idea is there. You have a structure to it, you know what you're going to do, but there is some give and take on, hey, we need to take a break real quick and try this idea and do this. So that kind of stuff is important to understand, that might happen. I guess the last thing is maybe just to, really have fun with it and be okay with feedback and criticism and people trying out different ideas and things like that. Ultimately, all this is, people are doing this because they want to make your song the best it can be. So really just kind of embrace that time and have fun with it, and make sure that you're just enjoying the overall experience. That's what you've done, all this hard work with pre-production, songwriting, picking songs, picking personnel, putting your team together. Just enjoy this part. This is the really, really fun part. So anyways, that's kind of what a tracking session kind of looks like. Thanks, guys.